Welcome to the Ben Buzz. I'm Benny King, and I have a special guest today in Nick Thunder Greene. Thank you for being here, Nick.
Yep, no problem.
Of course, man. And we also did an episode on Nick's Spotify, and I'll be linking his YouTube channel, Crazy Sports Kid Network, with his podcast, The Red Pride Thundercast, over the upcoming high school football season. So the link to his channel will be in the description. Nick, thanks for not only being on my show, but allowing me to take part in yours as well.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So on this episode that we're doing, I'm really wanting to dive into some more NFL content. Now, I did an episode a few episodes ago with my brother, but this one, now we're getting a lot more preseason. So I feel like we're getting a lot more info on really how the season's going to play out. And, of course, you being a big Bengals fan, I've been really excited to do this episode.
Who day?
Who day, right? What did you think of the preseason?
Well, I could see that the Bengals offense, is still going to be very good, but
Right.
the Bengals defense is going to have some trouble again this year.
Oh, I agree. And, I mean, we saw Joe Burrow. He played a little bit in the playoffs, or the preseason, and he did really well, but obviously the defense didn't quite do that great. What were some, the rookie quarterback performances weren't that bad. Shador did pretty good. 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with, with Sanders. So, yeah,
I was as well. He slid in the draft pretty far after his a few years at Colorado, but I mean, he fell really far in the draft. But the Browns, I mean, if he ends up panning out, that's great. But I mean, the Browns now, I don't know what the Browns are doing with all those quarterbacks, and now 4 out of 5 are injured.
Yeah, I don't know what the Browns are doing. Like the Browns are the most stupidest team in the AFC North, and that is going to be showing up again this year. Like, they're going to be swept by every AFC North opponent this year.
Oh, you think so?
Yes. Yeah, because they are not that good. And
Right.
and who knows, after this year, Myles Garrett might want out again and say, hey, I want to go to a real good team. So
He's locked in there now.
Yeah.
As the most highest paid defensive player. But I mean, do you think Shador Sanders is the long-term answer?
No, I don't think Shador is the long-term answer, because I still need to see some very good improvement from him. But yeah, it's like the Colts. Like, the Browns are going to be on the quarterback carousel in the next few years. So
Right. And I mean, after Joe Flacco, Shador Sanders might be their best option. And even if you don't think that he's the long-term answer, he could start for a few seasons maybe. And I mean, at the end of the day, who knows how well they're going to do, but it is the Browns. So we kind of put a ceiling on them because it's like, well, they could do okay, but it's the Browns. So who's to say? Maybe 5 wins? What do you think?
The ceiling for me, the ceiling wins for me, for the Browns, is 5 to 6 wins, but the floor for me, is 2 wins.
Right, yeah. I mean, they're right down in the bottom with, the Saints and maybe the Colts probably.
Saints, Titans, Colts.
Right.
In all of them.
Yeah, I'm not counting out the Titans yet just because that's a very winnable division. And if Cam Ward ends up taking off, I mean, maybe the Titans end up being good.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they haven't really had that good of a quarterback since Tannehill. And even Tannehill was, solid, but he wasn't, that great. Where if Cam Ward can have, a C.J. Stroud type rookie year or your Jaden Daniels, and, I mean, that division's kind of wide open outside of the Texans. So if all of a sudden they turn it around, I guess you could see that. But, I mean, with the Browns, I mean, that division's already too good. Because, I mean, the Ravens are really great. Right? And the Steelers, I mean, they might not make the playoffs, but they're always just incredibly mid, and I don't think the Browns can be mid. So I think we should give Steelers credit for being mid because the Browns aren't even that good.
No.
And then the Bengals could be anywhere. They could be the best team or the worst team. So, I mean, I feel like they're probably last place.
The Browns are the last place in the AFC North.
Right. And we also saw Jackson Dart throw his first ever NFL preseason touchdown, and it was a pretty solid throw. we'll have to see if Jackson Dart pans out. Do you think the Giants are going to be good this year, and do you think Dart has a good future with them?
For me, I do think that the Giants will be decent. Like, they won't be good, but they will be better than they were last year.
Right. That's a tough division, too.
Yeah. Because they have Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, now they have Jackson Dart.
And Tommy DeVito. Right.
The Italian man.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have like Decatur Central's standout too, Tyrone Tracy Jr. I think he's gonna go off this year for the Giants, but I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, since the Eli Manning years where they had those 2 great Super Bowl years, and then outside of that they didn't have too much success, and then the couple years with OBJ were pretty fun. But I mean, they've kind of been lost for years, I'd say. Yeah. Where I mean, they've just been bouncing around. The Daniel Jones era was rough. I mean, Brian Dable's first year, though, I mean, he was able to really work with Josh Allen, and he was the guy at the Bills that really worked that out. And then, so they brought him in, and then in his first year, he took Daniel Jones to the playoffs and got a win with Daniel Jones. Now, was it really on Jones? Probably more because of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
But still, to take that team and win a playoff game, have the Giants win a playoff game is pretty surprising. Now, it was against the Vikings, historically playoff chokers, but still, Yeah. I don't know. I think the Giants, they might not be good this year. I think they could eventually be good, but I'm going to have to see more. And when you're in that division, I mean, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders just had a great year. But then, like, you'd think that when you make the NFC Championship, you'd have the best year in your division. But the Eagles were astounding. And, I mean, the amount of talent the Eagles have alone is ridiculous. And they did lose a lot, but, I mean, they still have Saquon. As long as they have Saquon, honestly, they're still going to be a threat. And, I mean, the Cowboys look gross this year, but I'm not even convinced that the Giants will do better than the Cowboys. No. So once they hit that mark, I think they could have a chance. But, like, I mean, if you're not even better than the Cowboys, they're probably not going to do great. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think the Giants could eventually be good. And I do like Dabble, and I do think Dart could eventually be good, but I don't think it's going to happen quite yet.
Yeah, you took the words like right out of my mouth.
Oh, but, yeah. Yeah, and then Cam Ward, he did a little bit in the preseason. I think I have the highest hopes on Cam Ward. Because if we're looking at these other 2 guys, and we could go on like a bunch of other guys like Tyler Shuck on the Saints, but I mean the Saints just, I don't even, that's like one of the worst divisions in football, and I am convinced the Saints are just going to get last. Because they have that Tyler Shuck guy and then like Spencer Rattler. Like that's disgusting. You know? Like, Cam Ward, the Titans were bad last year. They were last in, the NFL, but I mean, the division is, I think that's the thing, is that the division is so wide open. Because you're only really worried about the Texans. And last year the Texans kind of just won it by default because everyone else was so bad. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's possible that the Titans turn it around. It might be a Jackson Dart situation where it's not this year, but it's in next year or next few years. But, I mean, I think they could really be good. And unless the Jaguars figure it out, I feel like the Texans are really the only good team in that division. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, if the Titans just do okay, they could kind of contend for the division, kind of like the Colts did a few years ago with Gardner Minshew. And, if they can get down to that one game, anything can happen. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Titans have a bright future, but with Cam Ward, I trust Cam Ward. He's very talented. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he's won everywhere he's been, where if you look at his college resume, he played at like 3 different teams where he just continued to go to a higher and higher place of competition, and he met the bar every time. So, I mean, it was well-deserved picking him number 1 overall, and I think he will be good, but it might take a minute. Especially, I mean, he's going to a terrible situation. Yes. So, I mean, it could take a minute before he actually gets to that level of a C.J. Stroud level where the Texans that year was a great place to go into because the division was awful. So it was perfect. I mean, and then they got the Browns in the first round of the playoffs. The one time the Browns, like, how does that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah. And they did get killed by the Ravens that year, but the fact that they were in there with a rookie is crazy. But I don't think we're going to see the same thing out of Cam Ward. like we did out of Jaden Daniels and C.J. Stroud. We've been blessed with 2 good of rookie seasons lately.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually surprising. But, I mean, I think he could be good, but I think this team needs to get a lot better first.
Yes.
I think it was a great part of the rebuild to bring him in, but I think they figured out the quarterback. Now they need the rest of the team to be good, I'd say.
Yeah. Yes.
It's crazy to think that just a few years ago they were the number 1 seed with Henry and A.J. Brown and Tannehill. Man.
Yeah, I know. And then they ended up losing in the first round to the Bengals. So
Right. I think it was the second round because they had a bye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The second round.
yeah. But then when they're the 8th or the 7th seed, or maybe they were the 6th seed, when they went 8-8, then all of a sudden they upset the Ravens on the road, and they upset a bunch of teams, and then almost beat the Chiefs in their building in the AFC Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Titans are so weird. Even when they're good, they still somehow feel irrelevant. I don't really know why. Especially with Derrick Henry gone. Derrick Henry was the team.
Well, the reason why they feel so left out, is because they're in the AFC South. And
Right.
the AFC South, is where teams and players go to die.
Right.
Because the AFC South is, very, very weird and very
Right.
Like the Texans were, were good the Deshaun Watson years. Then after he left Houston, he became terrible.
Right.
Then after the Colts got rid of Andrew Luck, the Colts have been on this curse of a quarterback carousel, and it's continuing this year, and the Colts will be bad this year. And the Jaguars, this is a make or break season for Jacksonville.
100%.
They're either going to be good or they're going to shoot themselves in the foot.
Right. I think in that division, the Colts are the only team that I don't really give a shot to, Because, Cam Ward, do I think they're going to win the division? Probably not. But, we've seen it happen in that division before, just a few years ago. We keep seeing rookie QBs do this, and I feel like he's the only one this year that really has a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of give them a chance. And then the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, if he's healthy, I don't know. And then, Travis Hunter's the big wild card, where, if he really takes off, I don't know how well he's going to be able to play both sides of the ball. And if he's going to have to narrow in on one side, I don't know. I think that was the right pick, though, because, tremendous athlete. I do wonder, do you think he's going to hone in on one position or no?
No. No, I think he's still going to be, very good, at both, positions. But if he does home in, on one position, this is a very hot take, but I think he's going to hone in on a cornerback.
Oh, I think he's a better quarterback as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I get it when you're in college, but, in the NFL, all of these guys were, the best at their respective colleges in their respective years. I don't know if... even if he's able to do it and, that's great, but, is he going to be able to do it at the same level? And then you worry about injuries as well if he's out there constantly.
Yeah.
Because it's not college anymore. It is the NFL. And I do think he's a great player, and I think he can do really well. But I don't know how long he's going to be able to sustain that without either performing not great or hurting himself. Because he's trying to stretch out his body, and I get it because he is an incredible athlete, and that's kind of become his thing, is that he's a two-way player, right? And obviously, he'd still be really a big player if he just focused in on one, but maybe you think that's almost part of his brand at this point. It kind of is, because, no one's really done that. And at the NFL stage, I don't know. If it works out, it works out, but I have my doubts until I see it work, I think. So It's really going to be interesting. So as we're diving into this new NFL season, we're really going into the rookie quarterbacks here, but now we're having some veteran quarterbacks for our own teams in Joe Burrow and now Bo Nix. And I think you can start to include Bo Nix in top 15 conversations for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. And between those two teams, the Bengals and the Broncos, both I think have bright futures, but both I think you can make certain nitpicks. Who do you think is going to have the better season this year?
I was thinking about this a lot, and I think Denver will have a better season than Cincinnati, and the only reason why is because Denver actually has a complete defense.
Right.
And the big question for Cincinnati is, what's the defense?
Right.
So
yeah, I agree. And I mean, when you compare things 1-to-1, when you're looking at QB, I think you give the Bengals the edge for sure. At least for now, because Burrow's ridiculous, right? And then you look at receivers, I think you give them the edge as well. Yeah. And then you start like going through, and even though you give the Bengals that edge, once you start looking at the other side of the ball, the Broncos run away with it, where it's like at least we can be like Bo Nix or Joe Burrow or like Cortland Sutton, or like at least it's close, right? But like when you go over the defensive side of the ball, then it's like it's nowhere near comparable.
No.
Where this Broncos defense is really starting to look ridiculous because they already had Patrick Surtain, incredible corner, just won Defensive Player of the Year, well deserved, right? And then Nick Bonito on that defensive line, he's an absolute stud. And they were already a good defense. And then they brought in Dre Greenlaw and Taliano Hufanga from the 49ers, and they drafted a first-round corner. Like, it's not only was their defense already good, but they continue to rebuild it and tweak it. And, I mean, the Broncos, the only thing I'd say is, like, running the ball was a little bit of an issue. They did bring in J.K. Dobbins, and they drafted a running back as well. So if that ends up working out, that would be huge too. And, I mean, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, the guy at Oklahoma, I think this is his third year now. He had, like, the 93-yard touchdown against the Browns. That was ridiculous. But, I mean,
yeah,
the Broncos, I think that's what it comes down to. Because in a head-to-head game, I think between the Bengals and the Broncos, that would be a crazy game. Because the Bengals, their offense, I don't think you can say you have confidence in the Broncos to win that game. But as a season as a whole, I think you see the Broncos do better. Yeah. The Bengals, I mean, they're such a weird team, because I could see them like getting like 15 wins or like 8, I think that's very possible just because that's kind of how they are now. And even though you could say that about this team, and even though you could say that the Broncos are going to do better, I think that every team would say they want to see the Bengals the least, because basically what you're saying is your offense needs to go out there and you need to match up with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And sure, their defense will make it easy on you, but like those guys don't play. Like that Bengals offense is legit. But I don't know if they can sustain that throughout a whole season. And I think they really just need to rebuild this defense. Doubling down on the 2 wide receivers, I don't know if it works out, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like what you were saying though. Like if you look at the game, like if you look at the singular game as a whole, like I think Cincinnati needs. If Cincinnati were to win that game this year at Denver, I think Cincinnati's offense needs to score at least 40 points.
Right. Yeah.
But on that crazy Broncos defense, I don't know if that's happening.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, when you look at last season, there were multiple games where the Bengals scored 38 points and lost the game. Like, how does that happen? Honestly, I mean, the Bengals. That's why they're so weird. Because I don't know how they're going to perform. Because I feel like it's going to vary from week to week too. And then last year they lost to the Patriots 10-16. Their week 1 game is always weird. The first 3 games are always odd. Yes. But I mean, if you look at their games last year, they did miss the playoffs. But I mean, if you go through each game, there was a controversial pass interference call against the Chiefs for the Chiefs that kind of gave that game away. There was a game against the Commanders where Jaden Daniels had the best game that he's ever played.
Yeah.
So perfect, and the Bengals ended up just losing. There was a game you're up 38-28, the Bengals were over the Ravens with 5 minutes left, and just a bunch of random coincidences, just a bunch of random happenstances, and somehow the Ravens come out on top in that one. Multiple games you put up 31 and you lose. I don't know, is that really going to happen again? I mean, there's got to be something. And then Shamar Stewart, maybe the new rookie, can maybe give the team a boost as well. And if they lock down Hendrickson, which I know they're being weird about it, but they need to just pay him because they need some people on defense. It's getting ridiculous because, I mean, if the team keeps getting run over like this, where the offenses end up doing all the work, I mean, Joe Burrow had MVP stats. No one was touching his stats last year. He had the best year of any player last year, and he wasn't even close in MVP rating because he didn't even make the playoffs. Yeah. How do you perform the best in the league and you're not even in the running? That just shows that the Bengals, quite frankly, are wasting Joe Burrow.
Yes. The Bengals are the Bengals are wasting him, but But if Cincinnati actually gets there, see, I saw glimpses of greatness from our defense last year late in the season.
Right.
So if that defense shows up all season long this season, I do believe Cincinnati has a chance to go all the way.
Right. I agree, but then Joe Burrow's making so much money. Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase is the highest paid wide receiver in the league, which is well deserved, but then you start looking at where all the money goes, and then T. Higgins is getting a crazy deal as well, where it's how much money do they have left to pay for this defense? And even if they start having crazy studs on the defense, eventually after a couple of years, they're going to want to get paid. And then are the Bengals going to keep investing in defense? Or are these good guys just going to leave? Is Hendrickson just going to leave? That's a proven defensive guy that you have, and then if he just leaves, you're just committing to this all offense philosophy that isn't working. I think they really need to figure it out. And their offense is so great, so they're always going to be contending and always fun to watch, I'd say.
Yeah.
But at this point, you gotta feel bad for Chase, Burrow, and Higgins. It's they need to do something better because you cannot play that well. You cannot have the stats that he had and the stats that Jamar Chase had. Absolutely ridiculous and miss the playoffs. It's honestly unheard of and ridiculous.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and as a Bengals fan yourself, I can tell that you were watching those games. How is Joe Burrow, the fact that you guys had Andy Dalton for a while, and things were fine, and then AJ Green, things were fine, but you've never had a quarterback that was this great. I feel in a while, so good, and it's just it's Andy Dalton has I know the other outside of Joe Burrow's Super Bowl appearance, Andy Dalton has outdone him in the playoffs. How does that? Joe Burrow's way better than Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. They really just need to build around him better. And yes. I mean, we keep saying that, but the offense is great. It is one of the best offenses in the league, but that doesn't matter if your defense can't stop anything.
Exactly.
Right. Honestly, this Bengals team, I look forward to watching them, and I think Joe Burrow is still one of the best QBs in the league, and Jamar Chase is certainly really great. But at the end of the day, if they don't have a defense, they're not going to make it very far. And I think it's just going to be about the same as they did last year, where they won about half of their games just because they were in close games in each game. Where you look through their schedule last year, multiple games. If you have multiple games where you score 38 or more, you need to win those games. And I think it's ridiculous that you have a team like the Steelers putting up 41 points. How does that happen?
I don't know. Just the Bengals defense not doing well with Pittsburgh.
Right.
So
because the Steelers are so mediocre, where they'll beat you in a slugfest,
exactly.
13-10 or 27-24 or whatever it is. And I can excuse the Ravens winning 41-38. The Ravens are a great team. I can see they scored 41. They're a great team. Whatever. But if you're letting the Steelers do that to you, it gets to a point where it's just this is not working. Because at that point, that's a fun shootout. But then you start looking and you're well, if they're in the same type of game against the Steelers, things just really aren't working, especially on that defense.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what you said. That shouldn't happen because the Steelers are mid. They're
right.
They always will be. They always have and always will be mid with Mike Tomlin.
Right. They'll beat the bad teams close and then usually lose by double digits to the good teams. That's just kind of how it works.
Yes.
Just a few years ago, they went 10 and I think they went 9-8-1. It was the most mediocre year. Ben Roethlisberger's final year, where they beat the Ravens by a field goal. It's 16-13 in overtime. Disgusting game. And then they lost by 40 against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Yeah. That's also the season that the Steelers also collapsed to the I don't remember what season it was, but I know that one season that the Steelers the Steelers also collapsed to the Browns in the playoffs.
Right.
How that happened, I don't know.
Right. I remember that. Well, the Steelers were 11-0 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And then in the final stretch, they just completely
collapsed.
Yeah, exactly, collapsed. And then how do you get beat by the Browns at your house? And that was Baker Mayfield The Browns should have never got rid of Baker Mayfield. He was great. And now you see what he's doing for the Bucs. It's like, and you see the QB purgatory that the Browns are in. It's just like they really made a weird decision just because Baker was playing bad, even though he was playing with an injury, which they knew. Like, it's just really weird. And to bring in a guy that already had accusations against him is just so strange. And you knew that he was going to be suspended for like almost all the year, which he was. And so he never really got fully integrated into the team. And now, like, his Achilles has snapped, like, multiple times. I mean, even with that, I feel like the Browns kind of deserve that. Because, like, what are you doing? Like, why would you bring... They brought him in while the allegations were going on.
Yeah.
With Deshaun Watson. It's like, why aren't you smart enough to be like, okay, maybe we'll go for literally anybody else, or you keep Baker Mayfield. Like, it's just so silly. And I know he was good for the Texans, but, I mean, really silly decision. And they kind of deserve it, because I don't know how you give Deshaun that much money when you know that he's hardly going to play in the next year, and you know that he's going to, I mean, not only the suspension, but just the stigma that it's going to leave around your franchise, because people are going to be like, people will not like your team. Or, like, the fans will be like, yeah, I don't really want to support him this year because of who they brought in. It's like, I don't know how you don't read the room and go, you know what, maybe we shouldn't trade for that guy and give him, like, $500 million. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the Browns, like, quarterback room, like,
right.
That's probably the most weirdest quarterback room with, like, with a Predator and a, like, with the Predator, baby hands, Grandpa, and 2 rookies.
Hey, let's not discredit Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett, though. Super Bowl champion, Nick.
Yeah, well, that's because he was on the Eagles, but...
Same thing. Ring's a ring.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Who do you think are the top QBs in this league? Because, I mean, we're looking at Bo Nix and we're looking at Joe Burrow, but, I mean, I think I'm really excited about this new season due to how many great quarterbacks we have.
Yes.
And, I mean, like, if we look through this top 10 that I made out, I mean, a lot of these, like, we have a lot of young guys in this league and that are really going to be able to carry on the torch. And even though things don't feel the same without Brady and, you know, Rodgers is on its way out, I mean, guys like Drew Brees, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, where it feels like those were kind of like the glory days, especially for us. But, I mean, I think the league's definitely in good hands with guys like Mahomes. And I know it sucks some of the whistles that they get, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a good QB.
Yeah.
And guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, those guys are just ridiculous. And I feel like we haven't, even though we've had like pure passers like Brady, Manning, Brees, and like with how good they are, but with how mobile these guys are and how just athletic they are, I feel like the league's QBs, like, it's been a while since they've been like this great. And I think this season is certainly going to prove that. I mean, Josh Allen is ridiculous. I mean, last season he threw a pass to himself. You remember that one? He got a touchdown, a passing touchdown and receiving touchdown on the same play. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, I remember that. But for me, like, but for me, like, the top 3 quarterbacks, like, for me, like have to be Mahomes, Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. And I say Lamar Jackson because whenever he's not running, like, he also throws it very deep, and he's a very good quarterback. But I would also say a case for Burrow being number 1. But if the Bengals actually have a great defense, then we would say, hey, Burrow is the number 1 quarterback.
Yeah, I think I am going to disagree, though. I think I would have Josh Allen at 3. I think it's the top 5 for me is certainly Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Jackson, and Hurts. And some variation between 2 to 5 I can sort of agree with, but I don't think you can put anyone at 1 until they have the Lombardis to back it up. And I know that Mahomes statistically has declined, but he's still won 2 MVPs. He's still won 3 Super Bowls. He's been to 5 Super Bowls now. Yeah. That's really crazy. And I mean, he's been in the AFC Championship just about every year since he started. So, I mean, I don't think, even though I really like Burrow and Allen and Jackson, until they have the accolades, it really does come down to Super Bowls, where it's like, until one of those guys has the same amount, I feel like you can't compete. Yeah. And I think it's really interesting the way people hate on Hurts, and it really doesn't make sense to me. Because that's a Super Bowl champion. That's a 2-time Super Bowl. He has 2-time Super Bowl appearance and a Super Bowl champion. I feel like it's weird that people are trying to say, "Oh, he's not top 10. Oh, he's behind all these guys." Like, I feel like it's really disrespectful. Yes. And I understand he has a great team, right? But so does a lot of other players, and especially Mahomes always seems to have great players, right? So I mean, I really just think Hurts slides in there at number 5. For me. And then I go Jaden Daniels at 6, Matthew Stafford at 7, Jared Goff at 8, CJ Stroud at 9, and then I put Justin Herbert at 10. I feel like that really makes sense to me. And Daniels, especially, he's really young, the rookie of the year. I mean, he had a phenomenal postseason, so I ended up putting him that high. Stafford, I still really like Stafford, and I know he might have that issue with his back, but just out of respect for everything that he's done all of his career, that's a Super Bowl champion who's still starting at a high level, and he just won a playoff game. I don't think I can really discredit that. And, well, yeah, once again, Super Bowl champion. And then I have Jared Goff at 8. I really do like Goff, but at the end of the day, the Rams, like, they chose Stafford over Goff. And Stafford has had more success. Until Goff has a Lombardi, I don't think you can really say that they won that trade, the Lions. Or even though you can say the Lions have had better seasons, and though they were the number 1 seed, they were just in the NFC Championship. Well, they also choked that NFC Championship, and they lost right away to the Commanders. Like, until they have that Super Bowl, I don't think you can say the Lions won that trade, even though Goff ended up being great, right? But I think Goff slides in there at 8. And then Stroud, I really do like Stroud. I mean, he's been in the league 2 years. Each year he's won a playoff game. And, I mean, like, that kind of speaks for itself where he's such a young QB. And, like, they've had injuries, too, with, like, Tank Dell and, like, Nico Collins had missed time as well, where it's like they continue to get back in there. And I think it was really interesting the fact that they kind of fell apart with Deshaun Watson, and then after he left, and then he came in here, rookie year. I mean, they had the second pick, so they were not great. And he went in there. And 2 playoff games in a row, he's won. So that's kind of where I slide them. And then Herbert at 10. The thing with Justin Herbert that really bugs me is people say he's top 5 or that he should be higher or he's higher than this guy and this guy. And it's like, I don't get it because he has flashes and he's really a spectacular QB. The throws he makes are ridiculous. And, like, I give him the credit and respect for that by sliding him at 10. It's like until he wins I'm just asking for 1 playoff win. Just 1. Before I start putting him over these guys. Like, people have him over Hurts, a Super Bowl champion who's been to 2 Super Bowls. How do you do that? And I get that Herbert makes cool plays. I get it. And maybe you don't think Hurts is as cool, or, you know, maybe you don't like the tush push. You know, whatever it is. But, like, I just need to see 1 playoff. Like, when you look at that top 5, like, I know Burrow, Allen, Jackson, like, those guys haven't won Super Bowls, but I have them in that upper tier due to not only their MVPs, but I mean, Burrow aside, I guess he hasn't won an MVP. There were a couple times where maybe he should have, but his playoff success and Burrow being the only one to beat Mahomes in the playoffs, where I think that top 5 is kind of like a different level where it becomes into Super Bowls, and then after that it becomes just playoff wins, where it's just like, I can't put Herbert into that group. He has no playoff wins. I can't put Hurts over Mahomes. He only has 1 Super Bowl to 3. I can't put Burrow over Mahomes until he has Lombardis, right? And I think that's sort of how it shapes out for me. So, I mean, Herbert goes at 10. I honestly could have put him lower because Aaron Rodgers is still around. But at the end of the day, how good is he really going to be in this year? But, I mean, that is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I don't know. I mean, I just think it's... I wonder if you agree with this because I think overrating Herbert is really weird until we have a playoff win. I mean, he should have one. That game against the Jaguars, how do you lose that game? Because they were up like 20, it was like 27-3 or something, where the Jaguars, I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw 4 interceptions, and they still won. They chargered it. How do you charger that game? So would you agree that Herbert stays behind a lot of those guys until he gets a playoff win?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because if you think about it, too, like the Chargers... the Chargers are just a curse in the playoffs. They make the playoffs and then they lose every time. Like they charger it every time. So just give me at least 2 playoff wins, like for Herbert.
Something, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's getting ridiculous. And, I mean, we look at that. I mean, Stroud, I mean, they went in there. It was the Texans versus the Chargers, and the Texans won. I remember going into that game, people were saying the Chargers had a bye the first round of the playoffs because they were playing the Texans. The Texans were not looking good. And they both played awful, by the way. Neither played spectacular. It was a disgusting game. But, I mean, the Texans throughout that game, even though they were playing bad, they kept scoring, and Justin Herbert just really couldn't do anything. It was really weird. And, like, in a game that they were supposed to win, too. Like, I know they were on the road, and I know they were the lower seed, but they were favored in that game. Where the Texans only had home, and they only had the higher seed, well, because they won the division, right? Especially when you're in a division with the Chiefs, it's hard to win that division. But, I mean, I just can't put Herbert any higher. I mean, I need to see playoff wins. I need something, an MVP, anything to justify that. Because people have him over Hurts, a guy who's won a Super Bowl. That's where I just don't understand it. And like I get the AFC maybe, and people say like, well, if Justin Herbert was in the NFC, you know. But I mean, at that point, it's a lot of what ifs, and I think you got to beat the teams in front of you. And even though you can say, oh, well, he has Mahomes in his conference. He has Burrow, Allen, Jackson. Like, how do you expect him to win? How do you expect him to do that great? He's still above those guys because they're in the NFC. They play weak competition. Well, how do you lose to Trevor Lawrence and the Jags when they throw 4 interceptions?
Yeah.
And then how do you lose to a Texans team that was not looking good? Like, they were playing bad. So you can't even use that as an excuse because you look at his playoff losses. He's not losing to Mahomes. He's not losing to the Bills or the Ravens. He's losing to teams that he should not lose to. He's losing to, like, if he has this status of a top 5 QB, if this is what he's supposed to be, if this is what he is, then why is he not winning these games? And I think overall, isn't his win-loss, hasn't he still lost more games than he's won since he got in the league?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that. But I remember it was, like, very close where it's, like, concerning. And I know the years with Brandon Staley, I get it, but, like, I mean, right. But, I mean, like, I get that the AFC has a lot of great quarterbacks and great teams. Like, I mean, my top 4 QBs are all in the AFC. And some people put it all AFC because they put Herbert at 5. I disagree with that, but, like, even if you say, like, the AFC has all these great teams and all these great quarterbacks, I agree with you, but that's not who he's losing to. He's losing before he even gets to those games. Like, Jackson, I don't think Jackson's lost. I don't think Jackson has beat Josh Allen or Mahomes in the playoffs or anything like that. But you know who he's beating? He's beating the teams he's supposed to. He's being in those games. He was one play away to beat Allen last year. And, I mean, in the AFC Championship, he was in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs. So, like, even though he's not, like, that's why I kind of have him at 4 because he hasn't won those matchups, but he's in those games. Herbert isn't even making it to those games to even make that argument. So, I just can't do it. And I disagree with anyone that puts Herbert any higher than 10. I feel like I'm even giving it a courtesy of putting him at 10 just because he is really talented. He is. And, like, I get it. The Chargers, I don't know. It's just he is really talented, and he's definitely one of the top QBs in this league. But I feel like putting him so high is just honestly ridiculous until we see results. Like anything, or at least like I don't want a playoff win against the Chiefs or the Bills, or maybe those are too unattainable. Just beat somebody, right? And it's not like your playoff matchups have been that terrible. People said you had a bye going into that game because the Texans were playing so poorly, and you didn't show up. You literally had a 27-3 lead against the Jags? Trevor Lawrence throws 4 interceptions, and you find a way to lose. Like, it really doesn't make sense, and it really is just, I don't know if it's the Chargers' curse at this point, but you're not losing to the top teams. You're not losing to the top QBs. That's not who you're losing to. You're losing to the teams that these guys are beating in order to even be in that conversation. So I just can't do it. And that's where I put Herbert. I think I put him at 10. And if you disagree, then you're just watching his highlights and not his results. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have to say too. It is the Chargers' curse.
Right. Yeah, I think it's so weird that didn't he get some MVP votes last year? I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how that happened either, but no.
Right. Now in this next section, I feel like a lot of teams, like we look at the Bills and we look at the Chiefs, like a lot of these like divisions end up going the same way year after year. At least the past couple of years. The NFL, it feels like it's getting more and more predictable, where the top teams are kind of remaining, and maybe like the Bengals like jump up there and then fall out, or the 49ers jump up and fall out. But like at least like 4 out of 5 or like 3 out of 5, like the top teams kind of stay there. And it would be interesting to see some division shakeups. And that's what I'm looking into, where we're going to look at these 5 teams and say, do we think they're going to shake it up and win their division or not? And we're only doing teams that have not won their division in a while.
Yeah.
Or at least not last year. So starting off with the Broncos. Do you think the Broncos have a chance to pull off the AFC West?
Yeah. The Broncos are the only team in the AFC West that has a chance to win that division over the Chiefs. And the only reason why is because the Broncos got very talented like over the past couple of years, and they're going to be very good again this year.
Right. I agree. And Bo Nix certainly seems like he's a great QB. I mean, it was just his rookie year, and he did phenomenal. And to be the last QB, I think he was the last QB in the first round taken, is just wild. So, I mean, the team that they're building around Bo Nix is certainly great. And the fact that they've really gone all out in the offseason, like I've never seen them try this hard, where I think they're really starting to believe it as well. And I think the most betted team to win a division is the Broncos, actually. Like, people are really pulling off the pulling for the upset. And even though I think a lot of it is that the Broncos are a great team and have that chance, I think a lot of it is that people just don't want the Chiefs so bad. Yeah. So they're just trying to vote against them. But, I mean, in terms of that division, I feel like the Broncos have the best chance. And the Chargers did have a better seed last year, but, I mean, I don't know. And they kind of lost a lot, too. They lost J.K. Dobbins. And they brought back Mike Williams, but I think he retired after they re-signed him. So, I don't know. I mean, I think the Chargers could be good, but once again, like, I haven't seen what I want to from Herbert to really give them that edge above the Broncos. And I know they had the better year, but you're talking about Justin Herbert, who's been in the league for years, compared to the Broncos, who had a rookie quarterback. And I know, like, they were both in the same situation and both got knocked out of the playoffs first round. But, like, when the Broncos got housed, it was the Bills. It was a good team. It was the Bills. You got housed by the Texans that were not playing well. So, I mean, that's what I think. I think that the Broncos have a chance. I think the Chargers have a good chance to do better than the Raiders, but honestly...
Yeah, most definitely.
Right. I think that's about it, though. I think that's all I'd give them.
Yeah. Then for the other team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right.
It's what I said like earlier in the podcast. I think Jacksonville, this is a make or break year. Like with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter and Travis Etienne.
Right.
And they're it's either gonna be a very good season or a season where they're gonna put the nail in the coffin on their team and they're never gonna be good again.
Right.
But the Jaguars, we will know in the first 5 weeks if they're gonna be good or not.
Right.
And I mean, it's too early. I mean, it's right now too early to say if the Jaguars are gonna win the AFC South or not. Because if they don't, then it's gonna be Houston.
Right.
And if it's not Houston, then it's gonna be Tennessee. Because Indianapolis is not gonna do anything.
Right. I agree, and that's kind of why I put them in this category, because I think the Broncos and Chargers are certainly solid teams.
Yeah.
And even though I am more optimistic about the Broncos to pull out that division, I still think the Chargers could certainly snag a wild card spot like they did last year. But, I mean, the Jaguars, I don't think they're a good team. I don't.
No.
I don't. I think they're bad. But I put them in here because it's their division is so rough and, not good, where it's maybe they pull it off. Because, if the Texans have an off year kind of like they did last year, but, a team actually capitalizes on it instead of just, the Texans having it by default. The Texans just had a free playoff game at home every year. That cannot, I feel like when you look at this division, the Colts are a train wreck. This is a real prove-it year for Anthony Richardson. I mean, it sounds like he got hurt again in preseason, practice. I don't know how bad that injury is, but that's not great. And... who did they bring in? Did they bring in a veteran who can take his place? Yeah, let's throw out Daniel Jones for the Indianapolis Colts. It's just nothing. You cannot be that optimistic about that team, right? And even though we were talking about the Titans earlier and how we could see them kind of have that jump, that's only because the Texans, as the division champion, look so weak. Like, if the Titans were in the Bills division, I wouldn't be saying that.
No.
If the Titans were in the Chiefs division, I wouldn't. The Ravens, I wouldn't, right? So that's kind of how I'm feeling about that, where I'm like, the Jaguars, I don't know. They did win. Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson did win a playoff game. We were just talking about that with the Chargers. And the game after that, they almost beat the Chiefs. Now, we haven't seen that sort of level where they were like 7-3 or something, and then Trevor Lawrence got hurt, and then everything fell apart, and then all of a sudden they fell out of the playoffs, and I think that was the year that the Texans swooped in and took their place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. And I don't think they're a good team, but it's like they could end up stealing that division if the Texans continue to decline, kind of how they are. And I really like Travis Hunter. I really like well, I guess I shouldn't say really like, but I guess Trevor Lawrence is not bad when he's healthy, right? And like you were saying, ETN, like that team, like I think their team, it's only like this category is the only thing that works. It's like, could they win the division? Because if they don't win this division, I think they're just out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is their only ticket. Because I don't think they're getting in with a wild card. I really don't. The next team I want to talk about, this is really an interesting one, where they haven't really been good in a while, and that's the Bears, where I think they could be really interesting. Do you think the Bears have a chance to steal the division?
Well, my first thought was no, but then I started to think about it. But see, the thing with the NFC North, like it's kind of exactly the same with the AFC North, but much more tighter.
Right.
But
yeah, I agree.
But I just need to see some flashes with the Bears.
Right.
Like, I don't know if the Bears will be that good this year, but yeah, and I still think Detroit is winning that division over Green Bay and Chicago and Minnesota. Minnesota will finish last in that division because they technically have a rookie quarterback because J.J. McCarthy got hurt last year, so he didn't even play.
Right.
So I don't know how good he's gonna be. So
yeah, and in this one, obviously, I think the Bears. We haven't seen a great season, and I know Caleb Williams. It was his rookie year. So I feel like we can give him some grace as well. But, the way they built around that team, the picks that they've made, the trade that the Panthers did for Bryce Young and everything that the Bears got for it, the way the Bears have built this team, it's like at some point it needs to translate to on-field success because it feels like they're doing everything right. They just rebuilt the offensive line great. They got Luther Burden in the draft way late out of Missouri. I don't know how that happened, and I don't know how he was ranked so low because Luther Burden is a ridiculous stud. If you know, you know. So, I don't know how he fell to them. But anyways, this Bears team, they're really building something that at least looks to be special, but it's when are we going to see it actually translate on the field? And we kind of saw it last year, and that whole division started off great, and then that Hail Mary against the Commanders, they lose that game. I feel like it really did just kind of kill the team, just really killed the soul out of that team, and everything else after that was kind of just really unfortunate that happened to them. And it was a really cool play, but the way it just ended up killing their season was ridiculous. And this year, when you're looking at that division, this is a tough team to bring up because that is a tough division. But the Vikings bringing in that J.J. McCarthy, and it's going to be his first year off that injury. I feel like the Bears have a chance to do better than that, right? Towards the end of the year, and I guess throughout the year, the Bears had beat the Packers in a head-to-head. And if you put it over a season, if the Bears, they seem like they're getting better and better every year. And it's at a certain point, it needs to translate to on-field success, right? Yeah. And it's is this year where I feel like maybe you give them the edge over the Packers? I don't know. Where it kind of feels like maybe they swap with the Vikings where they were last year. And then you start looking at the dog, the top one in the division, the Lions. And I don't know. And that really ends up being the question. It's can the Bears have a better season overall than the Lions? And, when you're looking at it, the Bears, with their new head coach, Ben Johnson, they fired Matt Eberflus, who they never should have hired. But Ben Johnson, if they play the Lions, he probably knows their secrets, too, being the former Lions OC. Definitely. So, And the Lions got exposed. Like, in that game against the Commanders, they were utterly and unfathomably exposed. Mm-hmm. Like, if that carries over this next season, that could be problems for the Lions. So, I mean, at that point, you could maybe make the argument that the Bears could do it. I think it's still a little far-fetched, and I think we need to see some on-field success before you really give them that. But I certainly think the Bears are finally going to be good, and it's probably going to be a wild card type season. But, I mean, this team, I mean, they had that 1 year with Mitchell Trubisky with the double doink, and then another year with Mitchell Trubisky against the Saints where they lost like 9-10. So, I mean, is this finally the year the Bears put it together and actually have, I mean, not even talking about postseason success, but just getting there because it's been too long. And I think it's really going to be interesting because I think the Bears will be good, but I think when we're talking about division, I think we need to see some sample size first of them actually having a winning season or actually beating top teams before I can say they'll win the division, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely.
Right. And then the last team on this segment is going to be the Panthers. Now, this is an interesting team. And the Panthers aren't that great. I think this is similar to the Jaguars, where I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't think they're that great, but in that division, maybe they run away with it, right? You start looking at that division, the Saints are dog water, right? And
yes.
I feel like the Panthers are going to be able to do enough to get a leg up on them, right? I mean, they should. I mean, if they're below the Saints, then this is a pointless discussion, right? But, I mean, you start looking at it, the Falcons with Michael Penix Jr., I think the Falcons can be good. We saw a head-to-head between them that went to overtime, and the Panthers ended up coming out on top. Bryce Young plays great, and it's Bryce Young has a few more years under his belt than Penix, and a full season where that was the first couple games where they didn't have tape on Penix yet, where if they have a full season, like, I don't know, I feel like the Panthers end up going above them, and then this is another thing where you go, okay, can they take out the top team? Can they take out, it's kind of the Texans version of this division where I really do like the Bucs, and I like Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans and everything that they do. But, I mean, you look at that team and you go, could the Panthers end up getting ahead of them? Because even though I think the Bucs are great and Baker Mayfield's good, right? They're not an Eagles, right? They're not a Bills, right? They're not a Ravens. You could see a team dethroning them, I think. And Bryce Young, he lost. Last year was a big year for Bryce Young because he played a little bit, wasn't great, right? Got benched for Andy Dalton, of all people, as well, who you know well. And then got reinstated and then had a great string of games. I remember, was it the Chiefs? He took to overtime or like really close. And then that shootout with Michael Penix, I mean, if that's showing of what's more to come, that's going to be a great rivalry in that division. And the way he really closed it out, and the Broncos ended up beating the Panthers as well. But, like, even though they were losing, they kind of like went like 50-50 in those last games after bringing Bryce Young back. But his performance was way better. And they have Xavier Legette. And then they just drafted, Tedero McMillan in the first round. I think he's out of Arizona. He looks really good. And also he's really tall. And that's what people are kind of saying is that they need to get some taller wide receivers so it's easier for Bryce Young to connect with him. Because I think he's only 5'10", which, as we all agree, is the perfect male height. I think we can all agree on that. So, I'm really optimistic on the Panthers season. And Bryce Young, I mean, I wouldn't say this if they were in the division with the Eagles or the Commanders or, whatever, what have you. But, like, that Bucs team is beatable. And we just saw a few years ago, and even like last season, like the teams like that are in that division, they're not far behind from the Bucs. Now, I think this is a similar situation with the Jaguars, where I think if the Panthers don't win this division, I don't think they have a shot. Because you look at that wild card race, and like you'd certainly think, I think the Packers and the Bears take two of those spots. And then you start going by division. I don't think their division gets anything, right? And then you look, I mean, between the Commanders and Eagles, I mean, one of them's probably the Commanders, right? Mm-hmm. And then you start looking, and if the 49ers win that division, I mean, the Rams and the Seahawks could try to take that. And then even though I don't think the Cardinals are going to be that great, like I feel like if they get into that mosh pit of wild cards, I don't think the Panthers are going to grab a spot. I think they need the division, and I think it's possible because the Bucs are good, and I think they're certainly the best team in that division, obviously. Mm-hmm. But they're not an almighty force. Like, and even though I love Baker Mayfield, he's not like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. They're not a Chiefs. They're beatable. I think they could get higher than them. And that's what I'm really looking forward to this year, is to see teams like the Jaguars or the Panthers, to see if they could get, like, because a lot of these teams, like, these are teams that we don't think are that great, right? But it's like, if they could win their division, they could maybe have a chance. And, maybe they don't do that well in the playoffs, but just to have a chance in the dance, and it feels like this is their only way to punch their ticket, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fitting that it's both the Souths as well.
Yeah. It's really fitting, but yeah, both the AFC and the NFC South are very weird divisions, but in my opinion, I think the worst division, like, out of those two, like, is the NFC South, with because it's been over the past few years, like, we've seen at least one or two teams that have been very terrible, and then the other two, and then the other three or two teams really good, and it's always a mix of them. Right. But I do think that the Panthers have a chance to win their division this year.
I agree. And it sucks to talk about the AFC South as this, like, bad division, because it felt like they were just, like, one of the best, where they kind of fell from grace. I mean, you look at those teams, the Falcons with Matt Ryan, the Saints with Drew Brees, the Panthers with Cam Newton, and the Bucs just a few years ago with Tom Brady. Yeah. Where it's like, it's really weird. And then, I mean, you can do the same with the other one, where they were just the Jags were in the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles. The Andrew Luck years, like, that was obviously a great time for the Colts, and unfortunate that he retired so early, and that really still lingers over the team. Yeah. And it really feels like since then it's like they can't have any success. It's really unfortunate. And then the Titans with guys like Donovan McNabb, but then or not Donovan McNabb, Vince Young, that's who it was. But he was on the Eagles, my bad. But then also Ryan Tannehill, where they just had the number 1 seed, where it's like now these teams, these divisions are kind of like the bottom. Where it's like, yeah, if you want to just punch your ticket and you don't really have to try that hard, just go to one of those divisions, where it's like, that's kind of unfortunate, where it's like, you'd think, like, if you do pretty good and you're like, oh, you didn't win the division, but at least we're up for the wild card. You don't win those divisions in this like, era, it feels like you're kind of out of it. And it's kind of like that one year with the NFC East, where Dak got hurt, the Eagles weren't great, and ended up kind of being between the Giants and the Commanders, and eventually the Commanders made that playoff, but they only won like 6 games, and they got a home playoff game. That's what's so crazy about when we talk about these bottom divisions. Like, no matter how bad you do, as long as you're better than the 3 doofuses in your division, all of a sudden you have a home playoff game when you wouldn't have even sniffed the playoffs otherwise,
Yeah. The 3 doofuses in your division?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a new one.
That's what the Texans are doing with the Titans, the Jaguars, and the Colts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just got to be the smartest of just 4 dummies, That's what it is now. And that's kind of unfortunate, but, I mean, that's just kind of how it is. And those divisions end up kind of being more exciting. Not as top-heavy, but it's just, like, even, like, the bad teams could find a way in, so it's kind of interesting. And I think that ends up trailing to less tanking down the road, because it's like they still have a chance. So that's kind of cool as well. Well, Nick, I think we're both pretty excited for this new NFL season. Yep. And I think we can both agree on one thing. No matter what happens next year, no Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Please. Nope. All right. Nope. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Nick.
Yep, no problem. And always remember, who dey?
Who dey? You can check out the episode I did with Nick on his Spotify, the Red Pride Thundercast, and I'll link his channel, Crazy Sports. What is it? Crazy Sports Kid Network?
Yeah, your Crazy Sports Kid Network.
All right, I'll make sure to have that in the description, so please check out him and our episode. This is the Ben Buzz starring Benny King. Thanks for tuning in.